Good morning. Happy Monday. Off to a bitterly cold start. So let's go ahead and hop into the forecast. It is a first alert weather day, so keep that in mind. And I'll show you exactly what makes it a first alert weather day for us. So looking at Decatur right now, temperatures bleak. 32 is where they sit. Just kind of saw a couple of flurries pass through there. It's very tough to pick up on our camera, but you can also see a little bit of chop on the water there, so you can tell that we've got that decent breeze, wind gusts picking up every now and again. So walking you through the rest of our temperatures though, lots of us are experiencing an opportunity for, there we go, all right. We're also experiencing an opportunity for some very bitterly cold temperatures going through the rest of the day. It doesn't get much warmer. 32 in Madison as well. Our camera a little earlier when I was setting this up for everyone, there it goes. You can kind of see it shaking a little bit to kind of show you it's a good deal of wind gusts every now and again. So I was getting my things from my car and the biggest wind gust pops through the entire parking lot. I'm like freezing. I had a jacket, but I was like, please let it stop. So we can see this system of showers or snow flurries actually moving over us. We'll continue to see that for another hour or two. It's very tough to pick up, but I have seen some folks talk online and sending us photos and videos and everything, and it's really nice to see. Thankfully, we're not expecting much more than just the flurries for today, so we're not getting a full-on snow blanket of any of that. So I'm not getting to that point yet, but they are nice to look at. So as always, if you take a video, take a picture, send it into our newsroom. Also, you can send it to me, Brad, Eric, Jeff, any of us on the weather team. So keep that in mind as well. But we'll continue to see that, like I mentioned, for a good portion of the morning. Heading into the afternoon, when it warms up just a tad, we may start to see that slacken up a little bit. So temperatures, like I mentioned right now, in those 30s, very, very chilly. Almost an abrupt difference from what we've seen in the past few days. So this was a drastic drop in temperatures. 32s all around the board here. We're seeing 30 out of Winchester. Meridianville's at 31. And the warmest area is at 34, Scottsboro. So we'll continue to see some of those cooler conditions. Oh, I pulled out the wrong one. This is our dew point, very low. But the feel-like temperatures, that's what's making it such a bitterly cold day. You have to remind yourself that when we're in the summer, we have our heat index, right? But when we're in the winter, we have wind chill index. That just basically means the way in the summer, thermostat could tell you it's 92 degrees outside, but it really feels like maybe 100. That's kind of similar, but just in reverse, of course, for the winter. So while it feels like these 30s right now, or our temperature says these 30s right now, wind chill values are in the 20s. Some areas are seeing teens. So think of it as the reverse action of what we see in the summer when we get those heat index values. So dress accordingly. And it's not saying, it's 30 to 40 degrees outside. Don't dress for that. Dress for it could possibly feel like 20 at any given moment, maybe 18. So that's why we have those first alert weather days, because we know wind chill values are just as important as our heat index values on the opposite end of our season. So just keep that in mind as you go about the next couple of months. I know sometimes first alert weather days pop up and everyone thinks storms and tornadoes, but it's also just basic safety things too. Just because this is a cold snap that we're going to see today, tomorrow, highs are back in the 60s by Wednesday. Sounds crazy. This has been a very just weird forecast for us, but that's how weather goes. So we just want to make sure everyone's kind of well aware of when we have first alert weather days, why that is what it is. So taking you through it hour by hour though, this is picking it up at about noon. You'll see our wind speed about 17 miles per hour. So we're going to get a good gust toward the afternoon hours. So keep that in mind. Again, make sure tomorrow's going to be a little similar, just a touch warmer, but I know we have our Veterans Day parade. Lots of folks are celebrating Veterans Day this evening as well. I believe there are a few events going on in the Madison area. I'm aware of those. Just a couple of events happening, but dress accordingly. Chilly, chilly. So let's talk about these temperatures. Noon, we're going to see temperatures still in those upper 30s. Like I said, we'll warm up a teeny bit, but what's really warming up in the winter, you know? Keeping cloud cover around for a good portion of the day, but by the time we get to the afternoon and just before sunset, we should get some clarity sky-wise. Also, interesting fact about the clouds, you'll notice that these clouds that pop up currently kind of look like cotton balls, so to speak. Those are cirrus clouds, and there's several types of cirrus clouds that pop up when there's colder weather. They're typically formed by ice crystals, which snow flurries is kind of trickling down from that. Really interesting stuff to learn. But once again, we're going to see those 30s around, cloud cover hanging around for most of the day. Although, like I mentioned, those cirrus clouds, those are upper level clouds, which is why it continuously looks gray, you know? Even though we have no lower level visible clouds, it's still going to look gray because those are upper level clouds. So there's levels to our sky, by the way. So you'll see different types of clouds. I believe yesterday I was in the Birmingham area, and I could see the upper level of those cirrus clouds I was telling you about, but under it, it's kind of like some nimbus clouds. So you'll see two different types of clouds, especially in the winter, because those are formed by cooler weather, which is why we have some more of those overcast days every now and again in the winter. So just some science knowledge for you. But again, by the time we get to our evening, though, this is actually midnight, we'll see those 20s kind of slip back into the forecast, and they'll hang around for Tuesday morning. So like I mentioned, I know a lot of folks are getting ready to attend the parade. 7 o'clock is when a lot of folks are out the door, or at least at work or making their way to it. We'll see those 20s around for a good portion of the morning. If I remember correctly, I believe the parade starts at 10, and you can catch the parade right here on WAFF. We'll be streaming it. We'll have it on our channel as well, however you receive our news. Still going to be a very chilly day. Wind speed is expected to go down just a tad in comparison to today, but we could still have some decent wind gusts every now and again. So this is around 1:30 tomorrow. 40s is, like I said, a touch warmer than today, but what does that really mean in the winter? So looking at the rest of the afternoon, it's going to be a nice and clear day as far as that goes, but we'll probably see less of those upper level clouds, giving us a little sunshine throughout the day tomorrow. So nice and comfortable. Again, walking you through 10-day, we do have that first weather day going through most of our day ahead because, again, we're keeping a good deal of those wind gusts that are getting to about maybe 20 or so miles per hour. Very strong at times. We're keeping those in the forecast and seeing that throughout most of our day. And by that being just in the forecast, it's going to create much cooler conditions. Right now, see our high for the day, 38. But like I mentioned, wind chill values could knock us back to about 20. Could feel like 15. So just keep that in mind. I know there's some areas I saw. Oh, I want to say that was maybe Chicago. But they had like a wind chill years and years ago when I was looking, just to kind of learn about the difference. The wind chill was like -8. I hope we never see that here in Alabama. But you know how our weather can be. I didn't want to see snow in coastal Georgia. I saw snow in coastal Georgia. So weather's it's predictable, but there's also times that it does things on its own that we're able to track, but we're like, where'd that come from? So looking ahead though to your Veterans Day, much warmer in comparison. 50s are the high, but it's going to be a brutal morning. We're going to see those 20s around. So please bundle up as you head out for the parade. Those 20s will hang around for a good portion of the morning tomorrow. So bundle up. Won't be as breezy as today, but still enough of a breeze to be noticed. Then we get back into the 60s by Wednesday. I'm telling you, weather is as predictable as we want it to be. There are times it throws curveballs. So we are getting back into those 60s. Our lows, however, will stay around those upper 30s, low end 40s throughout most of the week. And then as we get to Friday and Saturday, back in the 70s. This is honestly a fun stretch of weather. The Havoc has games as well, so make sure you make it out to one of those. Support our guys. We'll see rain chances return to the forecast by Sunday. 40% chance of rain. Now, today's precipitation is solely snow flurries. We're not expecting any rain today, or just those flurries, and not really going to be a nuisance to the roadways, as snow flurries are just kind of like misty rain. I would say they compare pretty similar into how they affect things. You'll see them, kind of hard to cover and watch, but they'll be in the mix. So getting back into those 70s, looks like we're going to have a similar setup on Sunday where we have another rain chance that will kind of push our temperatures back by Monday. Thankfully, only back into the mid-60s, because this is our current temperatures are a little abnormal for November. We usually get this later in the month, closer to December, closer to Thanksgiving, really. So we are maybe a touch early. I would say maybe a week or two early on this. So this is like the first freeze of the season as well. So make sure you're taking care of your pets and your plants and your pipes. Just because it's a cold snap right now, and you see by Wednesday we get back into pretty normal forecasts. I would say just to kind of get that muscle memory back into prepping your plants and your pets and your pipes, I would say go ahead and just kind of take care of that. Drip your pipes a little bit just to be safe, because I mean we still have 20s expected overnight tonight. So just to be on the safer end, because as much as it affects your body, you think about yourself when you're outside and how brutally cold and how a bit of a shock to your system that this morning was. Think about your pets and your plants and your pipes, the things in your life that can't really do much about the weather and can't really control what they have access to. So if your pet is typically an outdoor pet, I would suggest moving them in the garage for the time being, someplace warm where they at least are still kind of close to the outdoors, but this is just kind of moving into that time of year that it's kind of going to be a little tough break for them if they stay outside overnight. So let's be safe on that end. And for my folks with plants, I'm always interested in learning, how to grow, and I wish I had a green thumb. I really don't. I try, but I really don't. But for my folks with those plants, if you have outdoor plants that you're really trying to take care of, if you can move them indoors, do so. If not, that's totally fine. That's understandable. You may want to cover them with a blanket or something of that nature. I think that was the last thing one of the farmers had mentioned for folks that grow they have their own gardens at home. You mentioned kind of taking care of the base of the plant as well. So pretty interesting stuff. But all that to say, it's a chilly spell here in the valley. So keep that in mind as you go about your rest of your Monday. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope wherever you're sitting indoors is much warmer than outside, because it is a chilly day. We'll get back into the 60s by Wednesday. We just got to push through today, tomorrow, then we'll be back into some semi-normal weather by that point. So, and we'll see when we dip back into the winter forecast and get back into some of these 30s and see if it's going to be here to stay by that point. But right now, looks like this was just kind of just some crazy Arctic air just pushing through, making its way all the way south. Some of the time this stuff doesn't really go past Kentucky. So it did this time. Once again, hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to bundle up, especially going into tomorrow. I know there's plenty of parades and celebrations going on, so please make sure you are bundling up. Take care of yourselves. Think about your students that are on and off the bus as well, and even at recess. That's something we don't think about, recess. Yeah, make sure they're warm as they go outside. And other than that, hope you have a great rest of your Monday and a wonderful week ahead. I'll be back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m., doing the same thing all over again. Have a good day.